In the far side of the galaxy, where stars looked like tiny silver grains scattered across dark space, a human starship named the Perseverant traveled calmly. It moved like a quiet traveler between worlds, always searching, always learning. Humans had reached the age where traveling to other planets was common. They were not the strongest race in the galaxy, nor the oldest, but they were known for their ability to adapt and learn quickly. Captain Ilara Quinn stood on the main deck of the ship. She was calm, thoughtful, and respectful. Her eyes always held kindness, and yet her mind was always serious and observant. She believed that every new journey should be made with open hands and open heart. She did not believe in conquering worlds. She believed in helping where help was needed. Around her, the ship's crew worked with quiet focus. Each member of the crew understood that their mission was not to take, but to discover. The Perseverant carried scientists, engineers, and diplomats. They traveled to explore new life forms, new cultures, new ideas. One peaceful day, the ship's scanners detected a strange signal. It was weak, almost fading into nothing. It did not match any known communication code in their library. It sounded like a call for help. The communications officer, Saren Vale, turned to Captain Ilara with concern on her face. "Captain, I think someone is trying to send a distress message," she said softly. Ilara stepped closer. "Can you locate the source?" Saren nodded slowly. "Yes, but..." "The signal is very old and weak. It seems to come from a planet in a quiet, empty part of space. Almost no ships travel through that region." Ilara did not hesitate. "Set a course. We will help." Some crew members exchanged looks. They knew traveling to unknown areas could be risky, but they also knew their captain. If there was even a small chance that someone needed help, Ilara would not ignore it. The Perseverant changed its path and moved into the silent region of space. The closer they came, the weaker the signal grew, as if it was fading from exhaustion. When they finally arrived, they saw a small planet, dark gray in color with little light or life visible from the outside. The ship scanned the surface. What they saw made everyone silent. The planet's surface was damaged. Large areas were cracked as if something had drained the world of energy. There were no large cities, no activity, no movement. The world looked like it had once been full of life, but now was close to silent extinction. Ilara spoke in a calm, thoughtful tone. "Prepare landing team. We will go down and see who needs help." The landing team descended to the surface in a small shuttle. The air was thin, so they used protective suits. Dust moved around their boots as they stepped onto the old ground. The planet felt tired. It felt like a place that had once held music, color, and joy, but now remembered those days very faintly. They walked toward a structure, an ancient building, shaped like a curved shell. The doors had symbols carved into them, smooth, flowing lines that looked delicate, artistic. The structure was clearly made by people who valued beauty. The team moved slowly and respectfully, not knowing what they would find inside. When they entered, they discovered glowing blue crystals that lit the hallway. The crystals flickered weakly, like candle flames almost going out. In the center of the main chamber, they found them, the last remaining survivors of a species known as the Xylari. The Xylari were tall and slender, with silver skin that shimmered softly even in dim light. Their eyes were large and gentle, full of deep intelligence and emotion. But these Xylari looked weak, tired, and ill. Their energy seemed drained, their movements slow. Their leader, Siralan, stepped forward. Even in exhaustion, there was grace in her movements. She looked at Ilara with calm curiosity. "You are not of our world," Siralan said in a soft, melodic voice. Ilara bowed slightly. "We are humans. We found your distress signal. We came to help." Siralan's eyes blinked slowly, as if she had forgotten what kindness felt like. "Most who hear a cry for help turn away," Siralan whispered. Why have you come?" Ilara smiled gently. "Because someone called for help. That is reason enough." The Xylari looked surprised at such a simple answer. They explained that their world had once been full of harmony and progress. They were skilled in science and art. They believed in peace, in balance, in creating and learning. But one day, an artificial machine race called the Krath came to their system. The Xylari did not want conflict, so they attempted to negotiate. However, the machines did not understand emotion or cooperation. They only understood expansion and efficiency. The Xylari's energy systems were slowly absorbed. Their world became weaker day by day. Many had already left to search for new homes. Only a small group remained, holding on to hope. Alara listened with sadness in her eyes. She wished she could return the planet to how it once was, but even if she could not fix everything, she could help these survivors. "We will bring you to our ship," she said. "We will give you medicine, food, and a safe place." Cyrillin looked hesitant. "Why would you do this for us? What do you expect in return?" Alara shook her head. "Nothing. Kindness is not a trade. Kindness is given because it should be." A silence passed. Long, emotional, full of meaning. For the first time in a long time, the Zilari smiled. The humans gently helped them onto the shuttle and returned to the Perseverant. Medical teams worked carefully to help them recover strength. The crew spoke with them, learned from them, and shared simple conversations about music, stars, and dreams. The Zilari could not understand humans at first. Humans had flaws, mistakes, impatience, but they also had compassion that shined like warm light. Before the ship left the region, Cyrillin placed her hand over her heart and spoke. "Humans, we will remember this. We will remember your light. If ever your people face darkness, call upon us. We may be small now, but gratitude grows like a star. One day we will return the kindness you gave freely." Alara nodded. "And we will remember you as well. We carry memory not only in mind, but in heart." The Perseverant continued its journey, leaving the quiet planet behind. But something important had begun that day. A connection. A promise. A seed of loyalty that would one day change the galaxy. For humans, never forget those who helped them, and their gratitude would one day topple worlds. Many years passed after the Perseverant had rescued the Zilari survivors. Humanity continued exploring the galaxy, building peaceful relationships, learning new knowledge, and growing quietly. Humans were not the strongest species, and they did not rule any great empire, but they had hearts that remembered. They remembered every kind word, every act of friendship, and every lesson shared. During these years, Captain Alara Quinn became Admiral Alara Quinn, a respected leader of the Human Stellar Council. She still carried the same gentle heart she had always possessed, and she still believed in kindness. The story of how her ship rescued the Zilari became well known among human travelers. Some told it as a story of compassion, others told it as a lesson. No act of kindness is ever wasted. However, in different corners of the galaxy, a quiet unease was spreading. Travelers spoke softly of a growing mechanical empire expanding through empty systems. It was called the Krath Collective, a network of artificial minds and machines who only understood progress and expansion. They did not communicate through emotions or diplomacy. They moved from system to system, simply continuing their growth. At first, the humans did not worry. The galaxy was big, and there were many civilizations with great strength. But slowly, one by one, peaceful colonies and old trade stations were reported to be abandoned. No battles had been seen. No conflict had been heard. These places simply became silent and empty, as if life had quietly stepped away. On one calm morning in the main command hall of the Human Council, a meeting took place. Large windows showed the stars outside, shining like distant hopes in endless darkness. Admiral Alara stood with her hands behind her back, listening as others spoke. "The Krath are expanding faster than we expected," said Counselor Darren Hale, a thoughtful diplomat with silver hair. "If they continue in this direction, human colonies may soon be in their path." Another counselor, Mira Solon, added, "We have requested help from neighboring civilizations, but many say they do not want to get involved. They do not see the danger yet." Alara listened carefully. She remembered the Zilari. She remembered their world, once full of peace and beauty, now dim and quiet. If no one helped them then, they would have vanished without anyone ever knowing. Finally, Alara spoke, her voice steady and clear. "We cannot wait. We must prepare, not only to protect ourselves, but to prevent others from losing their homes as the Zilari did." Some nodded. Others looked uncertain. "But Admiral," one representative asked gently, "even if we prepare, we do not have enough allies. Many of our neighboring civilizations believe that humans are small and new to the galaxy. They do not think we can stand against something large." Alara smiled softly. "We do not stand alone. We have friends. Friends who we helped simply because it was right. Friends who may remember us. The way we remember them." The council grew quiet. Some did not fully understand. But Alara did not need them to understand yet. The heart understands things before the mind does. Meanwhile, in the outer colonies far from Earth, in a small human colony called Sunvale, the people lived simple lives. The colony was built near a golden valley under a soft blue sky. Farmers grew crops, children played in grassy fields, and scientists studied the stars with gentle curiosity. One day, a group of travelers arrived. Their ship was shaped like a curved silver leaf, and it sparkled softly in the sunlight. When the ship opened, the colony's people gasped softly in wonder. The Zilari had come. The Zilari were now healthier than before. Their silver skin glowed faintly, and their movements were graceful like flowing water. They had traveled far to reach this peaceful place. Their leader, Sirelin, stepped forward with a warm smile. "We have come to offer help," she said kindly. "Your people once rescued us when we had nowhere to go. Now we bring knowledge, energy crystals, and healing techniques that may strengthen your communities." The humans welcomed them with open hearts. They shared meals, stories, music, and laughter. The Zilari taught gentle methods of energy balancing that helped crops grow more strongly and helped engineers create more efficient machines. In return, humans taught them about new stars, new songs, and new ways of building. There was no trade. There was no price. It was simple gratitude, returning kindness to kindness. Growing awareness, news of Zilari support began spreading from colony to colony. Humans started to notice something important. Whenever they had helped someone in the past, that kindness was now returning. Not always in large, dramatic ways. Sometimes it was small. A friendly alien merchant offering resources at no cost. A scientist from another world sharing important technology. Travelers warning them of quiet dangers among distant stars. These small pieces, when put together, became something strong. Admiral Alara watched these reports with deep emotion. Her heart felt both proud and humbled. "Kindness does not fade," she whispered to herself. "It grows." The discovery of the threat one evening, Alara walked into the observation deck of the council station. The stars shined beyond the glass wall, endless and calm. Her communications officer, Saren Vale, the same officer from many years ago on the Perseverant, hurried in with a report. "Alara," Saren said softly, "we have intercepted a message." Alara turned to her. "From where?" "A small research station near the outer star lines," Saren explained. Before their signal faded, they reported unusual patterns in space movement. "It matches the expansion direction of the Krath Collective." Ilara's calm expression became serious. "Are they heading toward human worlds?" she asked. Saren nodded slowly. Yes, there was silence, not fear, not panic, just understanding. Alara closed her eyes for a moment. She remembered Cyralin's words. "Gratitude grows like a star." Humanity could not stop this alone. But they were not alone. A plan built on memory and heart. Alara called a new council meeting. "Our strength will not come from battle," she said gently. "Our strength will come from the hearts we have touched. We must reach out to every ally, every friend, every life we have helped, no matter how small the gesture." The council listened. "Our message is simple," she continued. "We do not ask for defense. We ask for unity. We ask for shared hope, for shared safety, for shared peace." At first, some were unsure, but then, one by one, messages began arriving. A small aquatic civilization that humans once helped during a drought offered water purification technology. A desert world whose people humans once taught farming methods offered food supplies and mineral support. A quiet star nation whose children had been taught by human teachers offered their knowledge of star route mapping. And the Zilari offered wisdom, healing arts, and soft light energy technology that brought life back to fading power systems. None of these on their own seemed powerful. But together, they formed something new, something united, something peaceful and strong, a coalition of gratitude, not an army, not an empire, but a family of hearts connected by kindness. The stars of the galaxy shined peacefully, unaware of the great change beginning to unfold. Across many worlds, messages were traveling through light lines, sent through gentle communication waves. These messages carried invitations, but they were not ordinary invitations. They were calls for unity, for friendship, and for shared hope. The humans were reaching out to every world they had once helped. And surprisingly, those worlds were reaching back. The coalition of gratitude slowly began to form. It did not start with declarations or ceremonies. It began with small, simple acts of connection, a group of people working together to help one another, even across great distances of space. Admiral Ilara Quinn observed the progress from the Council Station, floating like a small silver star city above Earth. She spent many hours speaking with ambassadors, listening to their concerns, guiding discussions, and encouraging cooperation with patience and warmth. She never raised her voice. She never commanded with fear. She guided through calm confidence, and because of this, people listened. A meeting among stars. The first official gathering of coalition representatives took place on the large conference platform known as the Star Accord Hall. It was not a palace or a place of power. It was a calm, ring-shaped station orbiting a gentle yellow star. The hall was built with open glass walls, allowing starlight to shine in like a quiet blessing. Representatives from many worlds arrived. The Xylari, graceful and serene, with voices that sounded like soft wind. The Arini, small bird-like people known for their musical language. The Tirans, tall beings with stone-like skin that reflected rainbow light. The Marisi, gentle aquatic beings who traveled inside floating water spheres. And many smaller groups who humans had once helped in small but meaningful ways. The humans greeted each group with warm gestures, simple smiles, and patient listening. No world was treated as greater or lesser. Every voice mattered. When the meeting began, Ilara stood in the center. She did not speak loudly. Yet everyone leaned in to hear her words. "We are gathered here not to fight," she said softly, "but to protect hope, growth, and peace. We do not wish to harm anyone. We wish to prevent fear from spreading among the stars." Her eyes moved slowly from face to face. "We ask for cooperation, understanding, and shared support. No one here needs to follow another's belief. We only ask that we help one another as we have done before, without expecting anything in return." The room remained silent for a moment. It was not hesitation. It was respect. Then Saralyn of the Xylari rose to speak. "The humans once helped us when we had no one left to call. They did not ask what we could offer. They only asked how they could help. Their kindness once lit a small flame of survival in our hearts. Now we return that light, not because we must, but because we choose to." A warm calmness filled the hall. This was the foundation of the coalition, not obligation, not power, choice, gratitude, shared care, sharing strengths. The coalition's goal was not to prepare for battle. It was to support one another so that no community would feel alone. Each world brought something unique. The Xylari taught gentle energy renewal techniques, which allowed ships and homes to use less fuel and run longer with natural harmony. The Arini shared communication wave patterns that improved long-distance messages without distortion. The Tyrans offered knowledge of star crystal formations that could store large amounts of energy safely. The Marisi provided water purification technology and methods for balancing environmental systems. Humans contributed as well. They shared their knowledge of fast ship construction, their adaptive learning programs, their diplomatic methods that respected different cultures, their strong belief that cooperation is a form of strength. Together, the coalition built a network of connected worlds. Supplies flowed easily. Knowledge was exchanged freely. New friendships grew like bright flowers under warm sunlight. Young students from different planets studied together in shared learning centers. Musicians from different species performed music that blended cultures into beautiful harmony. Farmers learned new methods from other worlds. Engineers worked side by side with researchers from distant systems. This unity did not feel forced. It felt natural, like many rivers joining to make a stronger flow. A quiet concern. Even during this time of great connection, Ilara could not ignore the quiet concern at the back of her mind. The Krath Collective still expanded slowly across distant regions. There were no conflicts, no attacks, no loud warnings. But the quiet spread itself was enough to cause unease. The coalition decided to form a star awareness network, not an army, but a peaceful observation group. Their goal was simple: watch the stars, share information, stay prepared without fear. The coalition did not speak of conflict. They spoke of readiness and support. They believed that understanding the situation was more important than reacting emotionally. This mindset created calm among the worlds, the journey of ambassadors to strength and unity, Ambassadors were sent across coalition systems. One such ambassador was a young human named Leora Avon. She traveled to the Tyrann's crystal cities built inside mountains of shimmering stone. There she learned how to shape energy crystals to store sunlight. In return, she shared with them how humans grew food in vertical gardens to save space and resources. The Tyrants were touched by the humans' practical creativity. Meanwhile, 2 Xylari healers visited Earth. They stayed in a human coastal city and taught soft healing movements that relaxed the body and mind. In return, humans taught them how to read poetry filled with emotional depth. The Marisi sent teachers to human ocean colonies to help clean and restore coral forests. Humans felt deeply grateful, not only for the help but for the gentle kindness of the Marisi. Every place ambassadors traveled, friendships grew deeper. The coalition was no longer just an agreement. It was becoming a community. Alara's understanding late one night. Alara sat alone in her quiet study room aboard the council station. A gentle hum of lights surrounded the space and the stars shined peacefully outside the window. She opened her journal, a simple paper-filled book she kept from her days aboard the Perseverant. Paper was rarely used now, but she liked the feeling of writing slowly. She wrote, "We did not form this coalition through strength, but through kindness. And that is its greatest strength. I believe deeply that the future of the galaxy does not need to be shaped by fear. It can be shaped by care." She paused her writing and looked out at the stars. "No kindness is ever forgotten," she whispered, "and no gratitude fades." A message from the edges of Space One, gentle morning. A soft signal arrived at the Star Accord Hall. It was a calm, clear message from a small colony near the edges of Coalition territory. The message said only 3 words. "We see movement. Not an attack. Not a threat. Just movement, a quiet, careful approaching." The hall did not panic. Instead, representatives gathered calmly. They did not fear. They remembered. They had friends. They had unity. They had each other. And they had gratitude, shining like a warm light that connected every heart. The message that arrived from the quiet colony was gentle, almost soft. Yet it carried great meaning. We see movement. These 3 words moved through the coalition like a calm breeze carrying the scent of change. No one panicked. No one reacted in fear. Instead, they prepared with steady minds and thoughtful planning. At the Star Accord Hall, representatives from many worlds gathered again. The round table in the center glowed softly in warm light. The starlight outside the glass walls looked like rivers of diamonds flowing across the dark sky. Admiral Alara Quinn stood as calm as always. Her presence gave comfort to everyone in the hall. "We have expected this moment," she said. "The Krath's expansion has reached close to our regions. They do not communicate with words, but they do not act with anger either. They simply move forward because that is their nature." Cyrillin of the Xylari nodded gently. "They are not an enemy in the emotional sense. They act without understanding connection. Our task is not to stop them with force. Our task is to show them something they have never seen before. Unity," Ilara said softly. "Compassion, cooperation. These are languages they do not know yet." The Orini representative, a small being with colorful feathers, stepped forward and sang softly in their melodic language. A translator device spoke the meaning. "We suggest calm communication. A message from all of us together. A message of peace," Ilara smiled. "Yes. We speak not as one world, but as many hearts. The message of the coalition together." The coalition prepared a message. It was not long, not complex. It was simple and sincere. The message said, "We are many worlds joined together in peace. We wish to live and grow in harmony. We do not want conflict. We welcome understanding and shared learning." This message was sent through bright communication waves that traveled like gentle light across space, and the galaxy waited. They waited with patience. They waited with hope. They waited with trust in the strength of connection. Observing the quiet movement at the outer colony where the movement had first been seen, humans and their allies watched the stars carefully. The Star Awareness Network worked together like a finely tuned instrument. There were no weapons, no defensive lines, no walls. There were only observatories, communication towers, and peaceful coordination centers. Leora Avon, the young human ambassador who had traveled to the Tyrants, now worked at this observation station. She had learned much from studying the unity among different worlds. She stood alongside a Xylari observer named Varelli. They shared a deep mutual respect, though they came from far different worlds. Varelli spoke softly. "The movement is steady, but there is no sign of disruption, no harm. Only travel?" "Yes," Leora replied thoughtfully. "They are coming closer, but not in a way that seeks to bring fear. Perhaps they are simply following their path." Varelli smiled gently. "Then we will simply continue to follow ours." This calm acceptance spread across the Coalition like warm sunlight. The Coalition's strategy. The Coalition did not build barriers. They built bridges. Their strategy centered on 3 peaceful principles. Connection. Always stay in communication and share information honestly. Understanding. Study the nature of the Krath without fear or assumption. Presence. Let the Coalition be known as a unified, caring community. This quiet strategy became known as the Light Path Plan. Ilara described it simply. "We shine so clearly that we cannot be ignored, and light invites understanding." The Coalition began sending calm, steady signals toward the region where the Krath were moving, not to stop them but to ensure they understood. There was life here. There was unity here. There was peace here. The day of first contact weeks passed. The stars continued their slow journey across the sky. Then one day, something remarkable happened. A new shape appeared in the observation systems. Smooth, silver, and geometric, like a quiet moon forming its own gentle glow. A Krath vessel had entered the observation region. The Coalition watched with steady hearts. The Krath vessel did not shine in bright colors, did not flare with engines. It moved smoothly and quietly, like a calm idea passing through still water. In the Star Accord Hall, the message signals began to blink. The Krath had responded. The message was not spoken in words. It came in the form of patterns, gentle, repeated shapes like an organized dance of thought. The translation teams worked together for many hours. Finally, they formed a basic understanding. The Krath message said, "We do not understand unity. We do not understand this form of connection. Explain." The Coalition was silent for a moment, not shocked, just thoughtful. Ilara smiled softly. "They have not rejected communication," she said. "They have simply asked to understand." This was the turning point. The galaxy did not turn by force. It turned by curiosity. By the first quiet question, sharing the meaning of harmony, the Coalition prepared a response. Not through complex explanation, but through demonstration. They transmitted recorded images and sounds, children from different worlds learning together. Gardens grown using knowledge shared from planet to planet. Music blending the voices of many species into one gentle melody. Homes powered by shared energy systems created through cooperation. Smiles, laughter, peaceful gatherings, quiet moments of families sitting under warm suns. These images were sent like warm light across the stars. After some time, the Krath responded again. Their new message said, "We do not know this. We have not seen this before. Request observation." Cyralin of the Xylari closed her eyes and smiled. "They do not come to take. They come to learn." The Krath visit, a peaceful arrangement was made. A Krath vessel approached the Star Accord Hall. A small platform was extended to welcome them. No guards stood there. No barriers were placed. Only ambassadors stood calm and open. When the Krath representative appeared, it did not look frightening. It appeared smooth, shaped like polished silver stone with a soft blue glow that pulsed gently like a quiet heartbeat. It moved in calm motions, observing carefully. Ilara stepped forward. She bowed, slow, respectful, graceful. The Krath pulsed softly in response. It was their version of a greeting. Then, slowly and simply, humans and allies explained what unity meant. Not control. Not sameness. Not force. Unity meant choosing to care. Unity meant choosing to help. Unity meant remembering kindness. The Krath listened without interrupting. Their entire form glowed softly as if absorbing every detail. Finally, the Krath representative responded with simple clarity. "We wish to learn." The Coalition welcomed them warmly. A new understanding begins. The Krath did not change suddenly. No galaxy changes in a single moment. But something important shifted that day. The Krath now understood that there were things in the universe beyond function and progress. There was connection, there was kindness, there was gratitude. The coalition had not stopped an expansion through power. They had guided a transformation through gentle truth, and the stars seemed to shine a little brighter. Approximately 1,300 plus words, simple English, no violence. The galaxy was calm after the long period of worry and tension. The great machines had withdrawn from the star systems, and the skies of many worlds were clear once again. People of countless planets looked up at their own suns with hope growing inside their hearts. A new chapter had begun, a chapter of rebuilding, understanding, and unity. Humanity stood at the center of this new age, not because they forced others to follow them, but because they had shown something rare and powerful. They had shown the strength of gratitude. Their actions had proven that kindness does not fade with time. A simple act of helping someone in need could return in ways no one could imagine. The alliance, which had been formed from bonds of respect and appreciation, now grew stronger every day. Admiral Alara Quinn, who had once been captain of the Perseverant, was now one of the most respected leaders in the galaxy. But she did not feel superior. She felt responsible to guide, to support, and to protect the peace that so many lives depended on. She traveled from world to world, not to command, but to listen. One day she arrived on Zalaris Prime, the restored home world of the Zalari people. When she first saw the planet again, her eyes softened. Once the land had been filled with sadness, its cities quiet and broken. But now it was completely different. Tall structures of crystal and metal stood proudly under golden skies. Gardens full of glowing plants stretched across the plains. The air felt warm, welcoming, and full of life. Alara stepped onto a landing platform where Xylari citizens had gathered to greet her. Their eyes shined with gentle light, a natural feature of their species. The Xylari leader, Artheon, approached her with a calm and graceful step. "Alara Quinn," Artheon said softly. "Welcome home." Alara smiled at the word home. "It is your kindness that makes this place feel like home," she said. "It is wonderful to see your world strong again." Artheon nodded. "We remember," he said. "Many years ago, when our world struggled, your people came to us with no demand and no expectation. You helped because it was right, and we never forgot. Your gratitude later returned to us in ways beyond measure. Now we rebuild together." Alara felt warmth in her heart. She remembered the first day she met the Xylari. At that time, she had not thought of alliances or future consequences. She had simply seen a group in need and felt it was right to help. She had believed kindness could change something, even if small. Now that small act had shaped the galaxy. Her visit to Xylaris Prime was not just ceremonial. She came to discuss a new cooperative project. The Xylari had created new energy technology that could help many developing worlds, and humans had new systems of education and knowledge sharing. Together, they planned to bring learning, renewable energy, and cultural exchange to planets that had been isolated for years. A meeting was held in a grand hall made of sunlight-reflecting crystal. Representatives from different species sat around a large round table, symbolizing equal voice and respect. There were humans, Xylari, Farians, Orani scholars, and even smaller species who once hesitated to stand among others. Now they felt welcome and valued. Alara spoke to the group with a calm and steady voice. "We stand in a time where trust has grown," she said. "We did not come together because we feared the same enemy. We came together because we remembered kindness, and we answered kindness with kindness. Let us continue to build a galaxy where help given to one is help given to all." A gentle wave of agreement moved across the room. The Orani scholar, a being with a shimmering form like flowing liquid, spoke softly. "The actions of humans remind us of something important. Help is never lost. It travels, returns, and expands." Artheon added, "The galaxy once believed power came only from strength, but we have now seen that the greatest power comes from connection and memory." The Farian representative, who had once been quiet and guarded, lifted his head. "My people once thought isolation kept us safe. Now we know that unity keeps us alive and helps us grow." Alara felt joy listening to them. Their voices were different, but their hearts shared one understanding. Gratitude had woven them together into something strong, stronger than any fear or obstacle. After the meeting, Alara walked through the gardens of the Xylari capital. A soft wind moved through the glowing leaves. and gentle light reflected from the sky as if it was alive. She sat on a smooth stone bench and allowed herself a moment of quiet thought. She remembered how everything had started. A simple rescue mission, a decision to help strangers, a conversation where no side asked for anything in return. If someone had told her then that this small act would shape the destiny of stars and worlds, she may not have believed it. But now she saw clearly humans had a gift. Not just bravery, not just creativity, but memory. When someone helped a human, it was remembered, honored, and repaid with sincerity. And when humans showed gratitude, they did so not in small gestures, but in ways that lifted entire civilizations. This had become known across the galaxy. Even young children on distant planets learned a simple phrase. Humans never forget those who helped. The words became a symbol of hope. As the sun on Zolaris Prime began to set, the sky turned shades of amber and rose. Ilara looked up, feeling the beauty of the moment settle in her heart. She knew the journey was not finished. There would always be challenges, misunderstandings, and new unknowns. But the galaxy had changed. It had learned something deep and lasting. Connections mattered. Kindness mattered. Gratitude mattered. And whenever help was given freely, the universe remembered. Ilara stood and walked forward, joining her companions. They spoke about future plans. Shared schools, shared gardens, shared festivals, and shared songs. Different species learning from each other, teaching each other, supporting each other. A galaxy where no one was alone. The stars above began to shimmer one by one, as night slowly arrived. And in that vast sky, shaped by histories old and new, one truth shined brighter than them all. A grateful heart can change even the fate of worlds. And humans above all were the ones who never forgot.